With continuous occupation dated back as far as 1,000 years ago, it should be no surprise to anyone that the Mobile-Tensaw Delta is one of the most historic areas in the United States of America. The city of Mobile, at the heart of the Delta, is one of the oldest cities in America. This area has seen many a hurricane, many a war, and many a tragic disaster. Let's take a look at the history of the Mobile-Tensaw Delta. I'm your host, Stu Donald. Let's head to the Delta. As a stop along the Alabama Coastal Birding Trail, Battleship Park presents the birder with a diversity of habitat to explore and a great variety of birds to observe. In addition to the BB-60 and the aircraft pavilion, the park features a fishing pier, multiple picnic areas, a nature trail with birdwatching tower, memorials for various conflicts including the 9/11 attacks, a display of tanks and artillery as well as the USS Drum. The National Historic Landmark World War II submarine USS Drum is the oldest American submarine on public display. Roughly 2,500 Alabamians died in World War I. Another 5,114 in World War II, 589 in Korea, 741 in Vietnam, 36 in Desert Storm. Roughly 9,000 Alabamians lost in the 20th century. On the 9/11 attacks and the subsequent War on Terror, another 140 Alabamians were lost. It is for all of them and their families that this park exists. Additionally, the park stands as a testament to mankind's ingenuity, as well as a stark reminder of the horrors it can inflict upon itself. While you are touring Battleship Memorial Park, be sure to stop into the Medal of Honor Aircraft Pavilion, home of an extensive aircraft collection, historic vehicles, and war artifacts. Dedicated to Alabama's Medal of Honor recipients, the Aircraft Pavilion features a memorial wall that pays tribute to these heroes. Among the collection is the Red Ball Express display, honoring those men who ran supplies during World War II, and a red-tailed P-51 airplane, just like the planes flown by the famed Tuskegee Airmen. One of the newest additions to the collection is Marine One, a recently restored VH-1N Bell 212 helicopter used by Presidents Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. One of the stars of the collection is the super-secret spy plane, the A-12 Blackbird. With a wingspan of 65 feet and 125 feet in length, this airplane flew 2,300 miles per hour and at 93,700 feet of altitude. It was used by the CIA in 1965 for spy missions. Come learn the interesting story of the men who manned her and why she flew. From her humble beginnings in February 1st, 1940, as the keel was laid at the Norfolk Navy Yard in Portsmouth, Virginia, Battleship USS Alabama, BB-60, has had a remarkable career. She began her World War II adventures in the North Atlantic in 1943, and later that year went to the South Pacific Seas. She ended her service in Mobile, Alabama as a National Historic Landmark and memorial to millions. Home to a crew of 2,500 courageous Americans, this 45,000-ton War Machines World War II adventure culminated with BB-60 leading the American fleet into Tokyo Bay on September 5, 1945. 9 battle stars for meritorious service were awarded to the Mighty A during her brief 3-year tenure as the heroine of the Pacific. In 1962, a campaign was launched to bring the USS Alabama home to her namesake state. She was to be restored as a memorial to those that served in the United States Armed Forces. Through a statewide fundraising campaign from 1962 to 1964, the school children of Alabama raised almost $100,000 in nickels, dimes, and quarters to help bring her to Mobile. Their legacy of giving has been enjoyed by thousands of people each year. The park is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Hey, Luke and I are at Baldwin County's Bicentennial Park just outside the town of Stockton. We're going to do a historic safari today. So, nobody else here but Luke and I. Let's head to the Delta. Welcome to the Baldwin County Bicentennial Park, a great place to enjoy the beautiful outdoors. The park was dedicated in 2009 to mark the county's bicentennial. Baldwin County is one of 3 counties, including Washington and Madison, that predate the state of Alabama, which gained statehood in 1819. Baldwin County previously belonged to the Mississippi Territory, which was organized in 1798. The park covers 367 acres and is a beautiful example of terrain and vegetation types, but especially wetlands that characterize the Mobile-Tensaw Delta, an area of 260,000 acres, 10 miles wide and 40 miles long. It is the second largest delta in the contiguous United States. Only the Mississippi River Delta is larger. The Little Red Schoolhouse was built in the Bromley-Blakely community in the early part of the 20th century to serve children in the African American community. Rebecca Burks Tompkins was the first school teacher and principal of the school, which serves students in 1st through 8th grade. Her husband converted a farm truck into a makeshift school bus to pick up the children in the Bromley area, crossing Bromley Creek when there was no bridge. Many of the students were her own children and kin. There was no indoor restroom in the school, and heat was provided by a wood-burning stove. Baldwin County, 10 years older than the state of Alabama, remains Alabama's largest county, covering over 1,600 square miles, larger than the state of Rhode Island, and has the distinction of having 4 seats of county government throughout its history. McIntosh Bluff, which is now in Mobile County, the town of Blakely, Daphne, and Bay Minette. Created by the Mississippi Territorial Legislature and carved out of a portion of Washington County, Baldwin County was organized at the county seat at McIntosh Bluff on December 21, 1809, during the days when it fell within the confines of the Mississippi Territory. Only Washington County, organized at Chatham on June 4, 1800, and Madison County, organized at Huntsville on December 13, 1808, remain Alabama counties older than Baldwin County. Creek Indian life during the late 18th and early 19th centuries is on display at the Lifestyles exhibit. It includes 4 winter homes and a trade house where American traders exchanged cloth, iron goods, knives, muskets, ammunition, mirrors, and jewelry for deerskins, which were much in demand in Europe for gloves and book covers. Native American farming exhibits are also frequently displayed, as are less substantial summer dwellings. Looking out across this breathtaking field, it is easy to see why the Creek Nation would fight so valiantly to keep their home in the Delta. The park boasts a functioning replica of a 19th century blacksmith shop, which, like most buildings of the times, is made of wood. Blacksmiths played a vital role in history, from creating hardware for homes and businesses to repairing wagons for travel and creating necessary items for livestock and farming. Historic Mount Peleer Methodist Church. The settlement of Mount Peleer existed in North Baldwin County as early as 1813. By 1889, Jephthah and Uriah Blacksher, extensive landowners from Monroe County, set up a sawmill and established a post office. The community became known as Blacksher. The Mount Peleer Methodist Church was built around 1895. In July of 2013, the church was relocated from its original site on Highway 59 in Blacksher to its present location at Bicentennial Park. The Latham Post Office was established in the year 1940. The first postmaster was Mrs. Henry Cooper, whose husband was the son of Latham Cooper, the person for whom the town of Latham was named. Latham Cooper was a native of New York State and settled in Mobile, Alabama. Mrs. Henry Cooper died in 1884, leaving Miss Molly McGowan to succeed her as postmaster. On Friday, February 26, 2021, the Latham Post Office found a new home here. Bicentennial Park's beauty is considered its primary attribute among visitors. Adding charming historical buildings, each offering its own unique history, and the current location is more conducive for access by the public. The location here at the park also offers a more historical setting in nature, complementing the historic Montpelier Methodist Church, the general store, the Little Red Schoolhouse, and the 19th century blacksmith shop already on the premises. This authentic, early 20th century general store was originally located in Lower Bryant's Landing in North Baldwin County. It is stocked with housewares and staples that were available circa 1950 before plastic packaging and barcodes. Needless to say, it looks nothing like a modern grocery or department store, though it has a variety of goods. The store has 2 large display windows and shelving along every wall. The floors are crammed with barrels, crates, and tables holding goods. The front counter holds display cases for smaller items, as well as needed machinery such as a coffee grinder, scales for weighing merchandise, and a cash register. Of course. The Veterans Memorial honors the brave men and women who have served their country.
Each monument at the site pays tribute to the veterans of a war and acknowledges the sacrifices each of these brave soldiers made to give us the freedoms we enjoy today. These monuments include World War I, World War II, War of 1812, Vietnam War, and Korean War, among others. The second war to end all wars. Korean War, the Forgotten War Remembered, 1950 to 1953. In honor of all who served and in memory of those who died, freedom is not free. I stopped at this particular one because my father served during Korea. All gave some gave all. The fallen soldier. Don't weep for me, O land of the free. When it was my time to fall, 'twas for my country's call. 'Twas for the land that I loved that I gave my all. And for the land that I loved, I did freely give. And in her freedom and her courage, I'll continue to live. Patricia Carl. From the bitter cold winter at Valley Forge to the mountains of Afghanistan and the deserts of Iraq, our soldiers have courageously answered when called, gone where ordered, and defended our nation with honor. Each brick, a different fallen soldier. Talk about your old ball and chain. Seacoast mortar, Union weapon from the Civil War. Weight 17,200 pounds. Bore 13 inches. Maximum range 4,325 yards. Almost 2.5 miles. That thing in the center is the projectile size.
The historic buildings and the military memorial only take up a small part of this park. Most of it is wide open spaces, with some trees scattered here and there. So Luke and I decided we'd hop in the car and follow the road around the perimeter of the park, and hopefully this will give you some idea of what the rest of the park looks like. The Baldwin County Bicentennial Park is 367 acres of history and beauty, which was designated by the Baldwin County Commission during the county's bicentennial in 2009. The Baldwin County Bicentennial Park is dedicated to preserving the county's rich cultural heritage and leaving a historical legacy for future generations. So bring your family to enjoy the DeVita Hasty Nature Trail, or to enjoy a family picnic on the beautifully manicured lawn, or at the Park Pavilion. In fact, the pavilion and picnic area are also available to be reserved for parties, weddings, meetings, and other activities. The park plays host to many cultural events throughout the course of the year, some of the highlights being the October hay rides for Halloween, as well as the annual Holiday Lights drive-thru and Christmas festival.
Historic Blakely State Park encompasses over 2,100 acres of the largest National Register historic site in the eastern half of the United States. Within the park's grounds are the site of the last major battle of the Civil War, including several miles of unspoiled Confederate and Union fortifications associated with the Battle of Fort Blakely on April 9, 1865. The site and remnants of the important early Alabama town of Blakely, colonial-era homesteads, and evidence of American Indian habitation from the archaic, woodland, Mississippian, and historic periods. The park is situated in one of the most ecologically diverse sections of Alabama and works to preserve its natural setting as a unique wildlife preserve.
Blakely is a fantastic place for day hikes. There's not really enough going on here to do a backpacking trip per se with overnight stays, although there is plenty of primitive camping around. Historic Blakely State Park has more than 20 miles of hiking, biking, and horseback riding trails traversing the property. All trails are marked, and posts at most intersections indicate whether a section of a trail may be traveled on foot or with bikes or horses. I hate that the word swamp has such a negative connotation to it. Swamps are incredible ecosystems, and they're really quite beautiful, although admittedly, because of the decay of foliage, they have a bit of a stench. But other than that, swamps are incredible. According to National Geographic, a swamp is an area of land permanently saturated or filled with water. Many swamps are even covered by water. There are two main types of swamps: freshwater swamps and saltwater swamps. Swamps are dominated by trees. They are often named for the type of trees that grow in them, such as cypress swamps or hardwood swamps. Freshwater swamps are commonly found inland, while saltwater swamps are usually found along coastal areas. Swamps are transition areas. They are neither totally land nor totally water. The Battlefield Tour has these little kiosks with QR codes on them. And if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to a website where you can then push play on your cell phone, and it will give you a little guided section for where you're standing. Like this one.
The depression to your left is a trace of the old Pensacola Road, a thoroughfare which as early as the 18 teens connected the town of Blakely with the city of Pensacola and was once one of the primary east-west transportation routes in this area. The Primary Park Road, Old Blakely Road, traverses portions of the original route of the old Pensacola Road. From just beyond this point to the park dock on the Tensas River, about 1 mile further, travelers are riding in the original roadbed of this historic route.
The Battle of Fort Blakely took place on April 9, 1865, and was the largest Civil War battle to take place within the boundaries of the state of Alabama, and one of the last of the entire war. The battle, featuring a charge by some 16,000 Union troops against approximately 3,500 Confederate defenders, was preceded by a week-long siege of what is known as Fort Blakely. The fort consisted of a 3-mile line of entrenchments anchored by 9 fortified positions called redoubts. The Confederate line was arranged in a broad arc in front of the community of Blakely and had its northern and southern extremities located on the banks of the Tensas River. Along with the nearby earthen defenses at Spanish Fort, Blakely served as a critical part of the defensive line protecting the city of Mobile. Its fall led directly to the capture of that city, the last major southern city in Confederate hands. The Blakely battlefield is one of the best preserved in the nation and features several miles of intact Confederate and Union earthworks of various designs and purposes. Private Thomas Washington Danner of the 29th Illinois Infantry penned a poem about the Battle of Fort Blakely. It's rather lengthy, so I'm just going to read you a little snippet of it. On the 9th of April, 65, long remembered be the day, in ranges of Blakely's batteries, General Canby's forces lay. They waded through sloughs and marshes, been exposed to the wind and rain, marched o'er concealed torpedoes, this proximity to gain. For here with their stronghold, dreading an open field, had convened Dick Taylor's forces to keep us from Mobile. We tried their works with light guns, but of these they did make sport, saying with such it would take 5 years and 6 months to take their fort. Our good general, not wishing to besiege their work so long, gave orders that assault be made, and carry them by storm. Evening came on, and 5:30 was the appointed time. Our reserves were then moved to the front and forward to battle line. Our artillery opened on their works, their virtue thought to try, when they opened their embrasures and gave us a reply, dropping shot and shell around us, cutting branches o'er our heads, while their laden missiles thick and fast on deadly errands spread. And now my favorite part of the entire park, the Tensas River. And you see the tracks? Lots of raccoon and bird tracks in that mud because it is low tide. Low tide. I think I was 14 years old the first time I visited Blakely State Park. It was with my parents in the middle of winter, I think in February. And And I remember standing on this boardwalk and looking out over this beautiful river, and I saw the most incredible sight. And I turned to my dad all excited and I said, "Did you see that?" He said, "I don't know. Did you just see a 4-foot blue marlin jump out of a freshwater river?" And I said, "Yes, that's exactly what I saw." And he said, "Oh yeah, I saw that too."
Point this baby north and hang her in the wind.
This is the General W.K. Wilson Jr. Bridge. It's where I-65 crosses the entire Mobile-Tensaw Delta. But it's known locally by a different name. For obvious reasons, we call it Dolly Parton Bridge.
That there is Baldwin Bicentennial Park. You're pert near there. Hey hoss, your destination is on the left. Right, Chonda.
Luke and I have been wanting to show you folks this place for quite some time. This is the Red Hill Spring. This is an actual natural spring. Wonderful mineral water pouring out of there. And the state or the county, someone decided to fortify where the spring came out here. Put a little pipe down. Make it so that citizens can just come by and fill up on that. Last time I was here, there was a family that had about 100 bottles, anywhere from a 16-ounce Mountain Dew bottle all the way up to a 5-gallon jug, and they were just filling them all up. They probably spent 2 or 3 hours here that day getting this fantastic mineral water. Let's see if Luke wants some. What are you doing? What? It's a nice little bit of a park right here. I guess you could picnic, but you'd have to bring a blanket. So you could sit on those stones right there, and if you got thirsty, you know, mineral water. When we first arrived here at the spring, you saw that there was a plaque there. Here's what the plaque said. Red Hill Spring, dedicated to the wayfarers who, for unknown generations, have passed by this way and refreshed themselves with a drink from this spring, and to those yet to follow. After checking out the spring, Luke and I couldn't help but notice that there's a trail here. We got a few minutes, buddy. Let's explore. I thought this a lovely pair of mushrooms when I first saw them. I wish I would have looked them up while we were there. According to the old Goog, this is a bloody milk cap, which is a fungus that when it gets cut or broken oozes a red to purple latex that then turns green on exposure to oxygen. I would have liked to have seen that, but at the same time, leave no trace. This from StocktonHeritage.org. The quaint community of Stockton, Alabama lies in the northern part of Baldwin County, a county created by the Mississippi Territorial Legislature on December 21, 1809. In its earliest history, Stockton was the site of an ancient town of Tensaw Indians, evidenced by the many artificial mounds of earth and other ruins found here. During the period of Stockton's history, this area was known as the Tensaw Country. I'm just going to stop here at the unofficial town hall. I am at a legendary place today. I'm here in the historic town of Stockton, Alabama, at the Stagecoach Cafe. Check this out. Most of the people that eat here probably eat here every day for lunch. Want some of them fried shrimp? I think that'll do me for now. For my lunch today, I chose to get roasted potatoes, rice and gravy, lima beans, and some fried Gulf shrimp. Pretty much every shade of brown known to man. Guess what color that iced tea is? The Stagecoach is a legendary restaurant here on the Delta, and it's named the Stagecoach Cafe because this actually used to be a stagecoach stop. And Stockton's been around a long time. There's a lot of history in this little town, and it's very quaint, it's very old, it's very southern, but this restaurant brings a lot of people to the area. In fact, New Year's Eve every year, they have the last ride of the year. It's where a bunch of motorcycle enthusiasts from all over the country ride to this restaurant in Stockton, Alabama, right here on the Delta, to have lunch. And then ride back to wherever they came from. They give awards for the person who's come the furthest. Last time I was here, I think somebody rode their bike from Canada, and not like the part of Canada that's closed, Toronto, like Vancouver. There were, I don't know, 300 or 400 motorcycles in the parking lot last time I was here. It's very cool. So if you find yourself down this way and you're hungry, Stagecoach Cafe in Stockton. And for my dessert, I chose a little buttermilk pie. Well, behind me is Mobile Bay. A mile or so there is the Mobile Tensaw Delta. 15 miles that way is the Gulf of Mexico. We're in Daphne, starting out here at Bayfront Park, We're about to head to Spanish Fort to hike these Civil War locations that I've looked up. One of them is really small, not much to do. And then the other one is pretty cool. We are starting today off at Daphne's Bayfront Park. From there, we're going to go hunt some history. Got a couple of Civil War sites to visit. One's a little small. The other one is a genuine hike. Let's head to the Delta. This has been one of the hottest summers on record in this area, and I haven't gotten out much in the last month. It's just been dreadful weather. Today, we're finally starting to get a little bit of fall. To give you an idea about fall on the Delta, it's about 87 degrees today, but the humidity is down, and that makes it more bearable. It is a beautiful day. I cannot wait to get back out into nature and re-nourish my soul. Squirrel. This. I mean, it was here the whole time. It was just inside of an oven. Looks like a jungle through here, doesn't it? Sounds like a jungle through here, doesn't it? So here, in the middle of suburbia, is a little bit of history. This earthen mound was part of a redoubt constructed by the 1st Division U.S. Colored Troops in April 1865. Colored troops. The regiment saw considerable action against Confederate warships protecting the Blakely River. This earthworks have been preserved as a gift from the Fuller family to the Archaeological Conservancy in 2006. Mound is certainly the right term, isn't it? Now, you would see you would have an elevation of another 5 or 6 feet here. And through these trees is the Tensas River. These trees clearly wouldn't have been here then, nor would have any of these expensive homes. But it's just part of the history right here on the Delta. As you can see, we are in the heart of suburbia. And that's one of the things that's remarkable about the Delta, is right here in the middle of suburbia, you have this. Fort McDermott, highest point along 2 miles of the Confederate battle lines extending east and north. Here, 200 soldiers from Georgia, Louisiana, and Arkansas held off a numerically superior Union force for 13 days and nights in the last battle of the war between the states. Oh yeah, this is a climb. Heck yeah. Boy, you can see why it's the highest point, can't you? That's a dove. There's another one. 2 of them. Keep hiking. Huh. I don't think that's natural. There's a view of the river on the other side. Let's head that way. Just keep in mind, we're still smack dab in the middle of a suburb. It's named after Admiral Raphael Semmes. The community I live in, Semmes, was also named after Admiral Semmes. I don't know if that's where he actually lies or if that's just to commemorate him, but I think this is probably where he actually lies. Not doing a whole lot of distance, and total elevation's not going to be anything to write home about, but I haven't been hiking in quite some time, so I have a feeling I'm going to feel all of these hills tomorrow. See if we can't get to this view. There we go. Yeah. Let's make our way back.
Man, I gotta tell you, after a month or so of triple digits pretty much every day, and if it wasn't triple digits, it was storming, I'm glad to be back outside again. You know, there's a lot of scientific evidence that leads to the suggestion that just being outdoors, experiencing nature, is one of the best things we can do for our mental health. Not to mention, the best source of vitamin D on planet Earth is actually not on planet Earth, it's the sun. All right, this is Dog River here, where it goes under Dolphin Island Parkway. And this is the mouth of the river right here. That is Mobile Bay. And when you get down here to the mouth of Dog River at Mobile Bay, there's something very special. Ooh. The River Shack. A bar under a bridge. Let's go check it out.
Bad as fuck. Bye bye. Yeah, I know.
Oh, look, there's a loon.
Reach down there and push that subscribe button and the like button. Just like it. At least click it one time.